Hello and welcome to another episode of Escaping Samsara podcast. And today I'm here joined by Topias. And can you please tell me how to say your surname?
Laaksonen.
Oh, great. Not, and
Laaksonen.
you're in Finland right now. That's
Finland,
great.
Kuopio.
Nice. And like a lot of people on the podcast, I found Topias on Instagram, and I think we connected on the practicing in your underwear front, where we're sort of wearing similar underwear in our videos, I think. And
Mm.
yeah,
That was the case.
it
I
is.
think it still is.
Yeah, and you have very interesting tattoos. They look a bit like runes and some other interesting symbols going on there. What's going on with your tattoos? You have a theme for them?
Most of them are actually like intuitive stuff, and they
Sorry, they're what stuff?
intuitive, you know,
Intuitive.
In, intuitive. Yes,
Yes,
yes.
yes.
Sorry about the pronunciation.
It's okay.
Yes, intuitive stuff, and of course runes. And I've always had, fascination about mythology and ancient cultures, but it's nothing specific, but a bit of here and another bit of there, and then together they form this mess. So
Nice.
yeah,
Nice, nice.
that's the way.
All right. So, why don't you, so how long have you been doing Ashtanga yoga?
Mm, I think it's safe to say that 12 years, but 12 years, I think it's safe to say, I can't remember the precise amount of years, but the only well, I have a son who's 15 very soon. So he was alive when I began and he was very small. So I do the calculation and I think 12 years is very near.
Mm. And also, I forgot the first question. What was the first spiritual experience you remember having?
Talk. That's like, my whole life has been dancing on the border of so-called normal and not so normal. And ever since I can remember I've had experiences and maybe some experiences that I'm not sure are they mm, like well a lot of experiences, and ever since I can remember, like I've always been drawn towards the unknown and mysticism, and uh like something in me, you know goes very deep there. And it's always been so. Ever since I was a child, I've never been normal, if you
So,
can say like that.
right. So can you give me a specific example about like what you mean about dancing between, like, do you see land spirits? Do you have, I don't know, lucid dreams? Do you find meditation easy? What's an example?
I've seen spirits, I've seen ghosts, I see dreams that come true. I sense things before they happen. Uh, for example, yes, but maybe from the hood, uh, I think spirits were the most visible thing. We used to live in very old mansion that is the oldest building in the city where I was born, and they tend to have a long history with the wars and everything. So yeah,
What was seeing a
that's
ghost like? Because I've never seen a ghost. I think I would be really scared if I saw one.
uh, well, when I was a child, I didn't first realize that there were ghosts. I didn't have the consciousness maybe to understand what I saw. but only like little time later you begin to understand that okay, like fuck, the things I saw were not like not human, no. And
Right.
mm,
So like, did the ghosts look like normal people or what?
uh, yes, yes, normal people, but you can't see the face, no face, only clothes and the human feature, which is like, um, well, they wore old clothes because of the period they used to exist, like in physical form, and you know, after after years and some months, other people said the same stories about the same clothes and similar people around the same area, and none of us knew that each other knew. So we all saw same things around same area, and but
Wow.
no one knew like only when we grew up, because when we were children we didn't know actually that they were ghosts. We didn't know.
That's very cool. So what drew you to Ashtanga?
Uh, I was, it was one of the crises of my life. I've had very many amount of them, which I'm kind of thankful actually. But one of the major crises of my life, I had a breakup from uh, important relationship, and then when the breakup happened, Uh, I didn't see it back then, but I see it now very clearly. Uh, Very much trauma, old trauma came to, surface, and it was super overwhelming. And I think I got a little lost that time, and that was the moment when I was like drawn to Ashtanga, and I began, and it worked. It worked, and that's the story.
So how did you learn it?
Crisis of my life.
Yeah. So how
Hmm?
did you learn? Because you are usually a home practitioner. You practice by yourself, you've mentioned. So how did you learn it?
I was participating local Ashtanga group classes here in Kuopio. I did participate like uh, little more than primary series. I left at the beginning of intermediate series, so that's where I started.
Right. So was it like a qualified, Mysore teacher that was there, or was it sort of a general yoga teacher?
Mm, Not qualified, so to say. Well, I don't, I've never done qualification. To me, qualification is have you practiced, and if so, how much, and how much work have you done with yourself. You can't hide those things, and they're always like sensible and visible. That is qualification for me. Mm, so, but I think she had none of those things. It was eventually, it turned out to be not so good place, but I think I needed that too that time. So not qualified teacher, but other kind of teacher.
Ah. So why don't you talk me through the practice you did this morning? Not like your ideal practice, but like what did you actually do this morning? Because if you already practiced today, if not today, then yesterday or the last time you practiced.
Mm. I haven't practiced today. No, I usually nowadays when I'm here in Kuopio, I practice around midday, so no morning. Mm, but yesterday it was intermediate series. So three Surya Namaskara A, 3B, then fundamental asana, and then whole intermediate series. That's about it. I
Yeah.
love it.
Where did you get stuck anywhere in intermediate? Like, did you have any problems when you're doing it?
Yes, well, I think I always will have problems with many asana. Uh, yeah, Kapotasana is always a challenge, but I've grown to accept that for me Kapotasana could be that I will never bind it. And it's okay. I don't have to bind it. But I don't stop there. I always do it. I always do my best. I always try to learn and um, try to understand more and seek more deep shape. But I don't stop there, no. Then I continue. Karandavasana took a lot of time, many years to be able to push up. So yeah, there is like I don't stop. I no. Only when it's like very clear, like in fourth series, there is places where I actually stop because I feel like I need this asana. I need to improve. I need to deepen it before going further.
Yeah, so I mean, intermediate series is supposed to be about like Nadi Shodhanam, and it's supposed to be designed to clear the nadis. And you're
Mm.
obviously a, a sort of have some sensitivity for spiritual things, Like, do you think there's anything in that sequence that is like very special for like doing that nadi cleansing job? Um, or is it, or do you think it's just a good sequence?
If I would have to think intermediate series and Nordic cleansing, I think I can't, like, first thing, which is usually the right thing that comes into mind, which I call intuition. Hard to pronounce, but still, mm, I think it must have something to do with bending your back because the most releasing feelings I've ever had comes from bending the thoracic spine. It's super hard for me, but when I get even the slightest bend to there, I feel like something 1,000 years old got released. So to me, nerve cleansing, of course, breathing and drishti and movement and stimulating nervous system all have their part, but specifically why intermediate series could be about nadi shodhana and cleansing the nervous system. I think backbends.
So, do you notice sort of any emotions come up, or is it more of a sort of physical sensation that when you release something?
Yes, that's like very huge reason why I still practice Ashtanga and why I think I will forever do because of all that comes up. Um, and yeah, there is so many things inside me. And when I practice, when I stimulate myself, my body, and when I sit with my mind, when I like breathe and be in solitude, everything comes. Like all things will surface, and usually they are very uncomfortable. But at the same time, I think most important things always are uncomfortable at first, but that's releasing. They were already inside you. So, yeah, I experience very much, and that's actually part of the one of the biggest reasons why I practice to stir what's inside.
Yeah. Um, that's a very good point. Yeah, so what like how did you because you do fourth series, right? So how is your progression with fourth series, right? So like it's quite rare actually for someone to actually get to fourth series if they're doing it in the orthodox Ashtanga method because people just get stopped and you have to, it's very hard, you know. But I completed fourth series and a little bit of fifth series because I basically didn't answer to anyone. I just sort of decided to do it. And then I also had a very supportive teacher who was also a very good teacher, who actually was like, supporting me. Right. So, what about you? Did you ever sort of, I don't know, stop at a posture or did you just sort of go through and do your best?
I just, keep going, but I have zero need to, uh, you know, hoard asanas and like more and more and more. No, but when only when I truly like feel like okay, I need to stop here because there will be no point progressing because I got work to do still, like major work to do. So that's when I stop. Mm, so I just keep going and keep going and but
So,
it's like almost always with the backbends and the deeper they go, the more I have to stop and do.
so you stop yourself when you think there's, some things you need to process, maybe? Is that right?
Yes, yes. And it's almost always with the backbends because um well, if there is like three asana about and all of them are deep backbends and they are in a row, so it I, to me it would not make sense to just go over them when I can't do the first one properly. So I I try to learn the best version I am able to do with my body, which usually is not so deep bind, but it's okay. And only then I move forward. So yeah, but like overall fourth series, I think it's third series is that's the hotspot. That's the place where people that's the tough place. I think fourth series to me, I think it's not that tough. Eventually, sometimes I struggle with the sweat.
Yeah, I think that's kind of normal. Like when I was practicing in an advanced shala, and this is my experience too. When people complete third and fourth series, most people end up preferring fourth series because it does
Mm,
feel easier. But I will say, and tell me if this is your experience too, it's the last part of fourth series, the last part where you have to do like all the crazy two leg behind your head with the straight foot. And then like there's a lot of arm balances there also. You have to do like three arm balances, like on your head with the leg behind your head. That last bit always just feels so hard. So it's like four series is just like quite nice, quite nice, quite nice, then super, super hard right at the end. That's
mm.
what I think.
At the end.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Have you
I've
ever?
done some like individual asana. I pick every now and then that I would want to try, and so yeah, they have heat in them for sure.
Mm.
But I still think third series, it's if you make it through, I don't know about fifth or sixth series, but if you make it through third series with all the vinyasa, I think you're in good hands.
So I say a bit
Maybe.
more about that. What sort of good hands?
Like that whatever comes with the fourth series and fifth series and sixth series, you got it. You got it. You can do it. Because at least to me, third series, it's a nightmare. So if you make it through the worst, everything else is easier in some way at least. Of course there will be like tough moments, but like overall it will be easier. But I don't know about fifth series or sixth series, but that is how I see.
Yeah, like I basically was practicing like the first half, I guess, of this series, but I never really got past the first like 25% because there's one posture where I think it's Uttana Shalabhasana. Perhaps I think it's Uttana Shalabhasana. So you do a handstand, then you have to lower directly onto your chest and then bring your heads over for chin stand. Um, and like it's so scary to fall out of that. Like I just like I fell out of it a couple of times and I swear like at one point I was like, have I broken my neck? Have I like literally am I ever gonna walk again? But
Yeah.
you know, so I just sort of got really scared of doing that without a teacher around. So I kind of ended up just stopped doing it.
I understand.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, where do you stand on, you're a home practitioner. Do you ever travel to study with teachers or are you always practicing alone?
I used to travel to study with teachers, and I've actually studied with many teachers. But nowadays, I think I don't. I've grown to be someone who sees like the practice happens like inside, and this may be little rough intake, but uh, for some reason, I I I think I like don't do that much teachers because when you step on your mat and when you begin your practice, like it's all there. Of course, when you start, I think teacher is very good to have because of rough shapes and adjustments and everything. But eventually, when you continue and repeat, I think it's like I could be wrong, but I think that all you need is there, and your thing is just step in and go find out. So, at least to me, I think it's worked pretty good. And
Yeah.
also, I've not had that many great experiences with teachers. Then many times they feel like that wasn't necessary, and maybe the most important thing has been creating a space with certain kind of energy. But all the adjustments and everything, it feels like not necessary.
Right. So were you ever hurt by an adjustment or anything like that?
No, it just feels like someone comes and taps me gently on the back, like it's okay, but it's like how can I say it? Like I think there's no need for it. Like like maybe the real need would be talking about spirituality and why we do what we do and what comes to surface and what is our aim and how what comes up when you practice. Maybe that would be something I would be more interested. But so far, assisting and workshops and everything, I think they're like mm, they're not necessary. Not necessary, but I am a strong believer that when you step on your mat and when you begin the practice, you have to be brave and you don't know many things, but when you repeat and keep on going, silence, solitude, and effort, you will find out and things will come like and there is no bullshit, so to say, but there is only real things that come inside you that always were inside you, waiting to be found. You don't need other people to tell their opinions or pour their trauma or behavior or anything or emotions. No, all you need is like yourself and Matt and bravery to go find out. That is how I see it.
Right. So when you're sort of talking about discovering things inside, I mean, is it all about having difficult experiences and releasing them, or is there like a lot of joy and positive experiences? I mean, what are you actually bringing up from inside? What literally are you bringing up? Is there any particular energy or feeling or memories or what?
I think everything that's inside, it could be like uh, a memory from childhood that still hurts. That because our days are filled with distractions and sounds and noise and everything. So when you are in silence, things tend to come up, and we have tendency, people are afraid of silence, and there's a good reason for that because what's inside it's not comfortable many times. So it's everything that I have not resolved or faced yet. And it's a good thing that they come up, because if they would not come, they still would be inside me. So that's a place of healing and regulating and releasing. But of course, there is much joy, also excitement, success, and everything equally. But many times I think the joy and everything, they can live their life cycle easily and release. They don't stick in your uh, nervous system. But the other kind of feelings and emotions and memories, they tend to stick because we are afraid to face them and feel them and, go through them. So everything comes, everything.
So do you do anything other than Ashtanga, like meditation or therapy or anything like that, or is it just the Ashtanga practice?
Ashtanga practice, yes. But as I said, I think I dwell so much in spiritual, like spirituality, or at least what I call spirituality. Mm, so I think most of the things I do in life, they are on some level, they are spiritual. So, but I lift weights. I do body weight exercises also, and mm, so yeah. But I think most of my life is it's not ordinary. It's kind of. I think there are many weird things I do, which I love.
Well, what's a weird thing that you did today and yesterday?
Uh, well, I think you are familiar also. If I remember right, you do magic that you
Yes.
call magic, and you so I think we meet also there. And when it comes to hidden knowledge, I think we also meet there. And when we come with the spiritual realms and spirits and paranormal, I think we will meet there also. So like the whole world, as I see it, it's it's spiritual and it's everything but ordinary. So yeah.
I mean, like, so I have spent many years trying to be able to have experiences of seeing energies and deities and spirits. And I've had some success in the last 2 years, but it's not something that comes naturally for me. So, I mean, as it comes naturally to you, like what kind of, do you do some like ritual magic or do you do something else? What do you do?
Do you mean like this? I don't know if I heard right, but magic to see spirits, or did I
No,
heard
I
right?
mean, what kind of magic do you do? Is it
Oh,
like a ritual or
yes.
something or
Yeah, yes, ritualistic magic, yes, yes. Um, but the more I do that sort of stuff and like everything related to that kind of life, the more it gets internal, like everything ritualistic or external. It's to me, I think I'm could be I'm wrong, but I think it's always been about tuning yourself into certain intention and so that something could happen. So ritual magic, but we go inside, and everything external is just helping you to, shift your state to something that could affect things so that they could happen.
interesting? So I mean, I see that like Ashtanga is helping you with perhaps some of the processes that we go through on a spiritual journey, which often involve releasing past trauma and experiencing things that we've sort of pushed to one side. And it's because your magical practice doesn't seem to be doing that. That's more something that you're doing as you are
Yes.
in the world. It's not introspective. You're not looking within, are you, with magic? So that's
No.
where Ashtanga fits in for you, right?
Yes, yes.
Mm.
It's like I think every part of life, in every part of my life, it's there is something similar in it. There is something like it's just the way I've grown to be, but I've become blind to it because I live that life. So every now and then when I meet people, and only then you realize that wow, how freak you actually are. But you become blind all the things you do, and they become normal, like rituals and magic and uh, Ashtanga practice and everything. They become just normal.
So you don't, so you spend a lot of time alone. You don't see people in general very often.
Uh, I do see people, but I think in Finland, our culture also, it's not that social. No, we are very silent and we meet people, but it's not like that. People always think that there's something wrong in me. Well, maybe there is something wrong in me also, but when you are silent, because we are very comfortable in silence, we are super comfortable, and it's our safe place to be. Only when people keep talking all the time, that's a very uncomfortable place to be. So, but yes, I do stay in solitude also. I think, the way I am, or I've always been, I've not fit into many places. I've always felt like an outsider, like no. So yeah, that that's the path.
So what about Mula Bandha? What about the bandhas, right? So you practice Mula Bandhasana,
Mm,
which you do very well, and that
thank you.
pose is supposed to let Mula Bandha arise naturally, which has been my experience with it. But I
Mm.
just wonder, like, given that you've sort of completed some of those poses, what's your view on like Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha? What's actually happening for you there?
That's good, good question, and I think it's everything but easy to answer. Pandas, I am aware of them, but to be honest, I've tried so many times and so many hours. Like when you apply certain bandha and when you activate certain bandha, something should happen. But I've never found it out. No. Um, But I know when I do like a certain kind of asana, I feel that okay, now the area of bandha is active. But what does the actual bandha do in my body? Um, could be that I don't know. I don't, like in Mula Bandha asana, yes, I do feel the area of bandha is now active. But what happens because it's active now? Of course, I could like say that yes, I feel it active because my heels press into that area and things and this and this happen. But then I would lie. I would not be honest. I have no answer to that. I I can't like. Could be that I have no experience. What happens when bandha is super active? Some people say that okay, when you do aerial acrobatic vinyasa, you can lift your legs when you apply bandhas. Yes, there is part of truth, I think, but many times the reason people lift their legs and do acrobatic vinyasa could be also because of not bandha but other things.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, I mean, Bandha is very subtle. I mean, ultimately, the thing that really sort of distinguishes Ashtanga yoga is the Tristana method. So we're looking at some people, I think some people have called it like pose, the asana, breath, and drishti, which is apparently the original formulation. But I really think it should be bandha, breath, and drishti because I don't think it is a yoga pose if you're not using bandha. I mean, like, there's
Mm.
no Banda is what creates the energetic seal
Mm.
for the unfolding of the spiritual process, right? So,
Mm.
what's your relationship to the Tristana method then? Like, drishti, breath, banda, like how does that feel for you when you practice?
Mm. When I told before that I am a believer that when you step on your mat, many things will come naturally. But of course, you have to know the guidelines that, okay, Dristi exists, Bandhas exist. You have to know, be aware of those. But when you go and do the practice, like Dristi comes, it will come. Like when you do the asana, you will gaze. You will gaze at certain point, and you can of course like choose to gaze at the right and do the right dristi, and apply bandhas. I think also, I think you can't do asana and vinyasa. I could be wrong here, and many people might disagree, but I think they come automatically. Are you aware of them? That's another question. But when you do move your body and do certain things, bandhas will come. They are part of the like holistic system that has to work to make the asana. So many things I am aware of those, and they are part of my practice. But I am not that conscious. Like how does drishti feels? To me, it regulates, it calms, it releases. Well, almost like pratyahara when you like you don't use you turn inward. The energy that you use to gaze, look, use your eyes. You no longer use those eyes, but that energy goes inward. So yeah, to me they are somewhat automatic, but at the same time they are something I could learn a lot more and apply more into my practice.
Yeah, I agree that they are automatic actually, and the practice builds them. Um, but I think there is also something to be gained from practicing them separately, like in a mudra practice, like with Mahamudra or pranayama, and then you sort of get like more detailed knowledge of them. So then you can sort of bring that back into the asana practice. But then at the
Mm.
same time, it's hard then to like because you maybe you have some knowledge of them, then your mind can get in the way because then you can kind of be like, oh, is the banda active? Is it not active? Where and I think that's where what you're speaking to is very true, is they should arise naturally, really. And
Mm.
it's the bandas that create the container for the spiritual unfolding to take place. So that makes it a spiritual practice ultimately, right?
Mm. And I
Yeah.
believe that, practicing bandhas, like you said, individually, uh, there must be so much depth that I am completely unaware.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying I'm any kind of expert, but it was helpful to, in fact, I do a separate hatha yoga practice um, because, for me, like this last year has probably been my worst year of Ashtanga because I just keep getting injured all the time. And like my knees are
Oh,
getting really bad. Like I had a meniscus tear like 5 years ago, and that's never really healed.
oh,
And then just recently I sprained my knee. So then I had both knees being like annoying. So I
oh.
just sort of quit all like lotus poses at that point because I'm just like, look, I love this. I love this practice, but
Mm.
like it's not like I also need to be able to walk. So, um,
Yes,
yeah, so
that's a
I've had
good
to.
point.
Yeah, so have you ever sort of struggled with injuries or things that are coming up or stopping you from practicing? Or have you ever had to kind of, I guess, alter your practice, I guess, or change anything?
Yes, yes, it is like, yes, yes, I've had like, to be honest, I feel like I all the time I have something, but at the same time, it's so natural, and I actually don't like when people uh dismiss injuries and everything. I think it's just part of the price we pay. Of course, we should avoid what we can, but at the same time, I think we should be conscious that when you use your body in a very um, maybe extreme way, it has its price, and everything eventually wears off. So, and then we must heal. So, when you use something, eventually shit happens and things might get a little hurt, but it's not the end. I think pain is only here to, um, come and tap on your shoulder that hey, you need to stop. It's pain is not bad in my eyes. It's only here to make you stop, and you know you have to look your practice. What is causing the pain, and then learn, and then we maybe grow. So yes, I do have left shoulder. It's fucked up. Not fucked up, but there is pain every now and then. It's slowly getting better. But yeah, I've had many things, and they are forced me to modify, but never quit. I don't believe in quitting, but I believe that conscious movement heals way better than stagnation.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. I think the thing that I sometimes wonder about is, you know, I haven't done like a full Ashtanga routine, like a traditional one, for like a while now. And I basically was kind of building my own routines to sort of like
Mm.
try to sort of work around the injuries. And I've also been doing some of Thai Landrums, Black
Oh,
Lotus. Have you heard of them?
I've heard, but I don't know.
Yeah, so I've been doing some of his routines, which are very interesting. But then I wonder, it's like, and what, so I wonder what your opinion is that do you think there's any magic in the actual routines that Pattabhi Joyce and Krishnamacharya put together, primary, intermediate, third series? I mean, we can all agree that they're very well designed. But like, is there any magic in them that like when you do them in this order on a daily basis, and then if you were to do like whatever, make up your own routine or maybe do Thailandrum sequences, would there be any difference, do you think, than if you're doing like the original ones?
I think, well, yeah, this is also like maybe not many people will agree, but I really don't care. To me, it's true at this point. I think there is no magic in there. When we begin, we see everything as magic and mystic um, and like whatever is old, there must be some depth in it. But at the same time, I think we forget that those were people also, with people creating series, and sometimes the reasons why we made those series were not so deep. It could be so. And to me, there is no magic, but they're good series. They're uh, you get very many things. You get to experience very many things, and you get to many things happen, and they are like they cover many areas of your body, forward bends and backward bends and hip openings and everything. But no magic. Magic is another thing. Uh, Beautiful series, but but there is always improvement. And to me, well, I don't talk about Krishnamacharya. I talk about Pattabhi Choice. The series itself, no magic, and there is improvement. And could be that the uh, reasons creating those series were might have not much to do about yoga. It could be, could be.
So, can you say a bit more about that? They might not have much to do with yoga. What's that mean?
Like like when many people come and when your classes become popular, uh, you have to create something that can suit that amount of people. And at that point, I think it's the reasons why we created something are no longer about yoga, but about suiting many people at the same time. So if I think about what the little I know about Krishnamacharya's practice, they were always, or not always, but mostly individual, and that is the path I I admire, and for me, that is the yogic path, not
So,
the made up systems. Because no.
so if that's your opinion, why do you do the Ashtanga sequences, right? You could just,
Mm.
create your own one with your intuition, right? So why not do that?
Um, I've grown to practice Ashtanga sequence, and they work. They work. It's like shooting a shotgun, you know. You do so much, so many different things that some of those do hit always. So I think it's good, and there is depth in it, and there is like the only thing I don't like worship is the like this is the perfect sequence. No, I think it's not perfect sequence, but it's beautiful. There is beauty in it, and there is depth in it, and there is wisdom in it, and there is more data than I probably will ever have. But yeah, so when you do many asanas, uh, they work. They work. That's the reason why I do.
Yeah, I think now I'm sort of I mean, I agree with all that, to be honest. Um,
Mm,
yeah, I don't think there's any specific magic in the sequences. However, I do think that like when you look at the progression of like primary, intermediate, advanced, it's
mm,
like it is very well designed, probably maybe
mm,
even the best designed. However, I got to caveat that with it's probably the best designed sequence, but it's also highly exclusive because like you have to be, pretty young, pretty fit. You have to have a lot of time. You need to have very forgiving knees, and
mm,
so really it's the perfect sequence if you're already in a very good physical shape. If you're not any of
mm,
those things, it's probably you just can't do it. And I think that's a problem people
mm,
have had with Ashtanga for a long time. And that's where Krishnamacharya was very wise and he was able to like create sequences for different people. So,
mm,
I mean, like to this day, I still think third series Ashtanga has definitely been one of the more transformative journeys I've ever been on, like learning that. Because it just like beats you up so badly, but then at the same time, it like lifts you up. Do you know what I mean? So
mm.
like it sounds a bit like a
Yes.
traumatic relationship, actually. You get beaten down and
Mm,
then it lifts you up again.
yes.
So like,
Yes.
it's like something like that. But what I find is that now I'm in midlife and I have like a bazillion responsibilities and children and all these things. I'm just starting to question like, hey, these sequences are great, but like, I don't know if I can like pay the price, as you say. I can't afford to get injured. I can't afford to use all my energy on a 2 hour practice when I have to do 10 other really intense things on this day. So yeah, sort of starting to learn about energy management. Do you ever have any sort of thoughts on that? Because you also train with weights and stuff as well. So do you have just quite high energy naturally, or do you have to sort of make compromises?
Um, I think I've just grown to be like it's like brushing a teeth. It's something. Well, we come back to the price because I like the price view. It's the price to pay so that your body works and your nervous system regulates and your mind is somewhat clear, at least sometimes, and so on. So doing the practice, it's the price. Lifting the weights, it's the price. It's 1 hour, 2 hour, but it's the price. I have 24 hours in each day. So what do I want to have? I think like I owe it to my body, and I owe it to this temple to, regulate and maintain it for 2 hours every day. I owe it. So it's my best friend. So we'll be together very long time. So that's the price.
Yeah. So, I mean, you talked about, Ashtanga and Yoga Asana. I mean, is there anything it cannot do, right? Where is the limits of the system, and where do you go if you need something you can't get from Ashtanga?
What do you mean? I can't.
Well,
But
like, what are the limits of the system? Like, it does a lot, right? It's a good sequence, but like, what are the things it doesn't do that you need to take from elsewhere?
yeah, I think the only thing that I honestly think was missing is strength. Well, there is strength. It's not about strength, but maybe when you pull up, when you do pull-ups, for example, in Ashtanga, you have push. You push a lot. You lift and push always down, but you don't pull yourself. So all of that is missing, and um, Ashtanga is not complete. It's not complete system, regardless. This is my view, of course, but regardless of what perspective you choose to view, it's not perfect. So there is always something missing, and I think strength training is complementary. You can do all those things that are missing from asana and vinyasa, regardless how acrobatic you do. There is always something missing. And when you do weightlifting alongside and your whole life supports you like anabolic state, you grow and you heal and grow. You see the benefits in your vinyasa. You see it. You begin to lift and float and everything. So many things only happened to me after I started to add more weight and lift weights.
Mm. Yeah, and what about dhyana, the meditative absorption, so
Mm.
meditation, does that happen for you within the Ashtanga sequence, or is it happening anywhere else for you? Like, where does it occur for you?
I think it's always been in asana practice. I've always found all the branches are able to happen in asana practice. That's why I
All
don't
the branches,
like when
you're talking about all eight limbs of the yoga happen
yes,
in asana.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. So I don't I don't always like when people this asana practice like it's not about asana, it's not about asana. Well, it's not about asana, or it could be about asana. I think none of us truly knows, but everything can happen in the state of asana. And while we practice asana, I think it's a beautiful place to explore and not just this that okay, you do asana, nothing else is able to happen there. No, everything is able to happen there. It's just matter of I think where you are in life, that what can happen. So dhyana, I think not always, but moments do happen in my asana practice. Yes.
Like, where in the practice do they happen? Like
Um,
any poses or
mm,
routines or something?
Sometimes I have a hard time to distinguish dharana and dhyana. What is dharana and what is dhyana? And when one of those happens, which one was it? Was I only focus? Some words are very hard to pronounce. Focus. Did I only focus or did I actually went in the meditative state? It's sometimes it's hard to distinguish, but the more complex asana is, the more meditative and focus to me it will be. And that is also one thing I don't like, because many people seem to dislike advanced asana. Like, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do. There is nothing to be found. I think there is many things to be found, because when someone requires all that you have, there is no room for your mind to wander, because you will die or fall if your mind begins to wander. You are in such a complex asana. So it's almost like forcing yourself to some sort of meditative state or some sort of focus state. That's the beauty of advanced asana, I think.
Yeah, I like that. That makes me want to go and do advanced asana again. So,
Good, yes, go.
Topias, this has been really nice to get to know you and have this chat. Do you have any other messages or anything else you want to say before we finish off?
No, not really. No, it's been very good moment, and thank you. I, it's been a beautiful moment, rare beautiful moment, and I appreciate this very much. I want you to know that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's been good to get to know you because you have some real genuine spiritual asana practice. So that's great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.